Well, it's beautiful to hear your voices and meet you this ways. My name is Jose Ajpu Munoz Raven, and I am a Mayan Time Keeper, which means I have been counting time or following my generational purpose of counting time day to day. Today it's been 66,237 years, 5 months and 25 days that our family started counting time. And in that way, I always honor the constellation that is above us. So if I may, Matiosh Tat, Matiosh Nan Ukushkahukush Uleo, Matiosh Kinichahao, Kan Chikchan, Hun Chikchan, Kep Chikchan, or Sheep Chikchan, Kahip Chikchan, Hop Chikchan. We keep Chikchan Wuku Chikchan. Wakshi keep can, Lalahep can, Lahuch can hum, Lahuch can, Kablahuch can, Osh Lahun can Chikchan. What that means is in gratitude, 13 times we show up in a good way to receive the messages today of the Kayopa, the Malinali, the Kundalini energy of creation. That is the constellation that is above us today. And we honor that to begin any endeavor, any meeting, any conversation, especially if it's in a sun rising like it is here in California. It's a beautiful way to start our conversation. And as a Mayan Time Keeper, I have been an advocate for peace all my life since I was 9 years old. And I was declared an Mayan elder at 13 out of the necessity of survival and the notion that there was a very good chance for the Mayan people to be erased of the planet due to the proxy war that was being fought between Russia and the United States in Central America. And the entity of ruling took that as an excuse to try to exterminate or ethnic cleanse all the Mayan people because our rituals and our knowledge and our ways of doing things were different. You know, we have 40 autonomous governments within Guatemala, and we're all united by a single council of grandmothers. And because of that, the elders saw the need of a Mayanization style of the knowledge, bring the kids out to the world. And they put together 5,000 children, and I was one of those people who came out to the world and infiltrated societies, learned the languages of the local people to bring the messages of the Mayan people and the cosmology, the mathematics, and the simple ways of life that we have. And so through that, I've been doing that since I was 13. I left Guatemala at 13 years of age and traveled the world, bringing a simple message to all the chieftresses, the religious leaders, and anyone with an open mind and heart to hear this message was the world is not going to end in 2012. Can you please tell your people that there will be fear and there will be manipulation, but if you as the leader of your circle understand that the world is not going to end in 2012, what we need to do instead is prepare to bring these messages forward. And so that was the simple message that I carried until 2012. And then the paradigm shifted, the 26,000 years calendar that we follow converge all the other 23 calendars that we have in the Mayan world. And that's when my advocation for peace started changing, and it is now an advocate for harmony, which is very interesting. Brooke mentioned that in her introduction, because today is I gathered a few people to start chanting for harmony, and putting these frequencies of sounds of the Mayan people into the universe to attract harmony into people's hearts. And today is actually day 77 that we started chanting during the last eclipse that went over the United States. At the exact moment passing through us in California, we started chanting for peace. And it's been 77 days. There's also a cycle that we chant for certainty. It's day 22nd today. And then also the other cycle that we are chanting and evoking the sounds into the frequencies of the universe, talking to our future selves to find that solutions. And by talking to our future selves, we can literally open our hearts and mind, our spirits, and send our spirit to whatever year we choose. In my case, I send it to the year 2199, and I ask myself, what happened after I met Brooke and George? What happened with that connection that Forrest made, the three of us? So I'm receiving all these answers from my future self, and that's what I do every day. Is my cosmology, is the way I live. Is my ontology, my cosmology, and I bring the messages of harmony. I bring the messages of let's take care of the children, let's take care of the elders. Let's create places where the children can come and listen to the elders. Let's create a place where the elders can come and listen to the children. And let's allow that people in between to absorb, document the knowledge exchange between the two and move it forward in a cohesive, comprehensive, black and white way for the future generations. And the other message that I bring to people wherever they want to hear it is the female nation is the one that will lead us all into interstellar harmony, understanding that we are a species from the ancient future. We have been through all the time and space traveling already, and we're now just going through the protocol, fixing what needs to be fixed, first in our hearts and then out to the world. And so those are my three messages. The world is not going to end, not anytime soon. As far as our calendars and count goes, it's going to be 770,000 years before we can start thinking about building a shell around the entire planet and move it towards the next sun that is available in the universe that we call Kinichahau. And until then, we are time and travel spirits who come here to finish where we started and continue this eternal existence as long as we keep choosing to extend that. So three messages: the world is not gonna end. Let's create a place for the children and the elders to listen to each other and acknowledge that it is the female nation that will lead us all to interstellar harmony, knowing that we're interplanetary species, intergalactic species, and interstellar species. And that would be the essence of what I am, the essence of what I have been since I turned 13 and left my village, left my country, and understood that home is wherever I am and family is whoever I'm with. So right now, the three of you, you are my family and I'm at home. Thank you. Yeah, so before it was the French camp, it was called the American camp. And before it was called the American camp, it was called the Indian camp. This whole area it was full of camps, people searching for a better way of living, and that including searching for gold. And even before that, this space has, according to the anthropologists, has been a dwelling for humans for thousands of years. In fact, this might be the first or one of the first settlements after the last ice age. This very place where I'm sitting right now used to be a place of um, fires and um, community gathering, acorn and whatever else I'm assuming that was here at that time, to have together, be together. And there are right now spaces where you can walk to the ancient altars right here, within the property. This is also a place where it rains every year, every month. We get about 40 inches of rain. That's a lot for California standards. And all of the rain goes down the mountain, rushes down the mountain to what we call the North Fork of the Stanislaus River, which feeds two lakes, the New Melons Lake and the San Pedro Lake. So we are the headwaters of that river. It comes from here, the North Fork. The other aspect is Darlene, Jyoti, and Russell. Those are the three people who hold the property right now in a personal loan to me, to the existing co-owners. There is no bank involved in it. It was just trust. And how that happened was I was looking for land. I put that into the universe in a ceremony in Mount Shasta. And from Mount Shasta, the contact came to come to this place. And the interesting piece of that was that it didn't happen, but I was supposed to go to Guatemala on February 22nd and on 2 p.m. at the Temple of the Jaguars in Tikal, Guatemala, to do a ceremony, which I do with elders and other people who sign up on board to come. But the last week before taking the flight, the Guatemalan government changed the COVID restrictions. So most of the people that were going to go didn't go. So we stayed here in the US, and that was the day before Russell and Jyoti called and said, we can meet. Can you come to the land? And I just happened to be ready to go. So I came from Los Angeles and had a meeting, walked the land, and I just felt it in me that I felt this is what I call to the universe. This is what I call true ceremony, and I'm not gonna turn away from it. And it looks pretty impossible to obtain this. But I told the people, if you give me the right price, I will dedicate the rest of my physical life to take care of the animals, the water, and the land, because we happen to own the mineral rights and the water rights here. We have a huge underwater table. So I actually did a pinky shake deal with them in ceremony to take on the land. And somehow we raised the $400,000 that I needed to raise in 2 months to take on the land. And that was 2 years ago. That is coming to an end on July 7th, this next month. So that's where how it came to be. And now one of the things that it really caught my attention was before we shook the pinky fingers, so this is a deal. They told me that the previous three people who have attempted to buy this land, they had the ability, they had the knowledge, they had the escrow, went through all the protocols that we go through here in the Western world, but they die suddenly and mysteriously before the deal went through. And I mean, one person, fine. Well, two person, a little weird. Three people, it's a little weird. And then somehow in that whole process of listing it for 1.6 million and going through the processes, Joy T, which is the founder or one of the founders of the 13 original Indigenous grandmothers, that organization came from here, from these altars, from this ceremony. The grandmothers came and then they spread their messages around the world for the next 20, 30 years. Your T have been having dreams about passing this responsibility of the land to a Mayan elder. Now, by any means, when I met them, I don't look like a Mayan elder at all. You know, people have a different perspective of what a Mayan elder is. But through time, within hours, she understood that I was the person, according to her, she connected all the dots. Said, oh, you're the guy of the dreams. So it was because of that that she looked at Russell and Aline. Russell's her husband. Aline, they're best friends since high school. And she said, well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel this is the man that not only will get the land, but he's not going to die, like he says, because you know, I already talked to my future. I know when and how I'm going to go. So to me, it was like, well, the first thing I said, well, I'm not going to die. So if you give me the right price, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to ask you any more questions. It's a deal. So they did. And that's why I'm here. That's why I like to extend this beautiful offer to a collective of minds, visionaries that can see the land, walk the land, and if it resonates, how the potential, limitless potential that this land has for everyone. I feel I am calling. I did through ceremony again for the right people to come. 20 of them. Uh, if 20 are not available, 13, I'll take 13 because that's the number that it will take for this to move forward after July 7th. We're creating the new economy. We're doing the cleaning the oceans. We're creating solutions. And I'm saying we as me being part of you guys, what you guys have been doing, creating solutions, not just finding the problems, because that's easy to do, to point fingers. Creating the systems and the solutions that will replace the existing paradigms that have been driven us to where we are now, destroying the planet. And so that's how I see we're doing enough. As a collective, no, we're not. But individually, we can. And that's all we can control. It's what we, as an individual, can do for ourselves to assist Mother Earth, be gentle with us, with the weather and everything else. That relationship with nature that we have. I have to ask myself on a daily basis, how is my relationship with the energy of the Mother Earth? And what are those energies of the Mother Earth? You know, what is my relationship with fear? What is my relationship with curiosity? What is my relationship with that creative energy, that kundalini, that energy of sex, um, energy that creates everything? You know, if it wasn't because of that energy, we don't exist. And so, what is that relationship individually that I can help to move us all forward? What is it in me that I can do for the rest of the people without expecting anything in return? And so that's where the Mayan calendars comes relevant, because we only have two laws in our Mayan world. We only have two laws that we memorize. And under those two laws, everything else comes into place. We only follow trust and we follow respect. Trust everything and everyone, respect everyone and everything that exists. And under that, if we follow those two, we don't have to worry about any other law under the ceiling of the universe. And when we do go beyond to foreign lines, like in my case, I always have come with trust and respect of the locals. I don't go into people telling them what to do or how to do their thing because I'm not familiar with the local environment. And so observing those two laws, that's where the mathematics of the calendar goes. And basically what the Mayan calendars are, to make it sure, is we just follow and observe cycles and probabilities. And we do analysis of what has happened in this very day, uh, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 years ago. How does that happen? And in my family, I am very privileged. We have been doing this for 66,000 years. Uh, One might think that that's a long time, but in a creation story where we have been here for trillions of years, 66,000 years is really nothing. And so just following the cycles, observing the trends, the economics, every subject that you can think of and is relevant to what you're doing, what I'm doing. I follow the cycles and I play the probabilities mathematically. And that's how, between those two things and talking to my future self, I come up with the conclusion or the solution or even the answer to this very question. Has been instantly holographically analyzed 64 times so I can deliver the message as best as my ability to the current relevant state of mind that we're all in. I hope that gives you insight or answer your questions.
Yes, I have one more based on your answer. Is that what was learned from the dialogue of historic selves that could have helped us foresee the ecocide we're facing now? What could we have done previously to change the track of this level of biodiversity loss on the planet?
Well, first, everything that has happened um, has and was absolutely necessary for us to be here in this very moment. Millions of occurrences and events on each one of us through time and space, and not only in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes, had to be perfect for us to re-encounter each other at this time. So to us, the past is absolutely perfect. The future, however, we can agree to create. And so what we could have done for things to be better today, we could have practiced what we're all practicing today. See, after 2012, the gates of knowledge became wide open, not only from the Mayan people, but from every culture in the world. They put forward their knowledge readily available at a click of a button. So we couldn't have done that before 2012. It would have created something different. So the timelines are a combination of the relationship of what we see needs to happen and bringing the case to the universe. And the universe as a global consciousness, not only in planet Earth, but extending throughout the universe, comes back into our consciousness, our creativity, and then we create day by day, moment to moment, what I call the eternal present at the now o'clock hour. And so if we had these practices being done earlier, which when you check the records around the world, people were doing what we were doing way before we were born or even existed in this planet. The reason what we feel, and this is the actual answer to your question, this is the time. This is the right people, because we have had travel through space and time, and we know what is best for us. Now we come to an understanding that no one else can tell us what is best for us. We have come to an understanding that we create our own destiny. And we also understand that we have now the knowledge and the technologies to override destiny and fate. This is an unprecedented time, and we really have no record because we are at the front lines of this everlasting time traveling play or movie or experience, whatever you want to call your existence. It's a space where we are the actors and we define our roles every day. And so the question can be answered in that way where there's nothing that we could have done except these practices that we now know. If people have done this cohesively in harmony and unity, the way we're trying to co-create, then the planet would be different. But that would just speed up the process into the future. Do we really want that? Or do we want to have the chance to slowly go through the process so we can change the things that can potentially erase the human experience for children that are not born yet? I'm gonna go with the latter. I'd rather go slowly through the process. And if you know me, you know that I eat very slow and I walk very slow for the purpose of integrating and observing what I eat, what I drink, and what I see with all my senses. And so that would be it, what I have to say on that particular question.
So I'm just curious, like on this particular land, where that is, what is needed, what is the vision for next step, and how we could be in service to that in the best way possible.
Yeah, so Jyoti, Russell, and Darlene, they're the ones who had this land, and they owed the bank money. And so I saw the opportunity to bring the money that they needed so they could pay the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. But now the loan comes into my shoulders, but really in everybody else that owns it, which is 7 more people. And Russell can, Forrest can send you guys all the information on that. There's a pitch deck on that, what we're doing and who is doing it. But the essence of it is we need to pay $236,000 that is left on the loan. I was able to pay, on addition to the down payment, another $30,000, $36,000, somewhere around there, including interest. So what is needed right now is 5 people at 44,000 each. And the way I designed this is 7 people and 1 nonprofit. That's who owns the land. 44,000 gets the people who can see the opportunity and can see the value of having this for the future generations. It gets you access to the entire 160 acres of the land, water rights and mineral rights. It gets you a vote and a voice in the council to be created by everyone who comes in. And it also gives you the right to live here permanently or part-time, or utilize your rights as a co-owner to maybe build a little house or a granny house or a house to operate it as a business for your low or passive income. So it gives you those three things: access to the entire property because it's undivisible common tenancy or co-ownership. It gives you a voice to be a decision maker as a consensus unit for now. And it gives you the right to be here and build your own dwellings. That's the offer, and that's what it needs. It takes 5 people at 44,000 to pay it off, and then we just divide the taxes and the insurance among every person, including the nonprofit. So the bill is very low a month. That's the vision. That's what it will take, and that's the reason, one of the reasons why I am actively seeking people who can see that possibility. You can see the value of having a space for the children to listen to the elders and vice versa. And while we're at it, this place is abundant. You know, my abundance comes in a form of relationships and material abundance. Well, this land has a lot to make 500 people not only survive but thrive. And that's the other aspect of why I came here in the first place, because this is really like a pocket of survival where people can live in peace without electronic fog, for example, electronic smog. There's not such a thing here. There's no noise. So once in a while, you can hear a helicopter. You can live in peace and in harmony here and actually build your relationship with the elements here. So, you know, I like people to have that option. And when I say people, everyone included. You know, there's opportunity for people that in any other way or direction, they could never get a loan from the bank to live in a place remotely close to this. So I want to extend that opportunity to the people who can hear it, the people who understand opportunity when it comes knocking on the door. So there is no advertising. It's not listed. It's just this ways that I put it in the universe, and then Joe shows up, Forrest shows up. You guys show up. You understand the vision. The people who are living here understand the vision. Now the question is really to you, knowing what I am saying, because you have not verified that the land is even here, you haven't come here. Forrest has come. So what is it that you as a visionary or someone who can see these missions to be important can do? You know, anything you can do is highly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. It's the way forward is connecting me with the two of you. Maybe one of you or the two of you are interested or know someone who might be interested in being one of those visionaries who will come in the near future to be part of this.
Beautiful. And I'm curious if the people that you already have there and those inviting in, this would be the group of people. I mean, I guess if the interest lies to be co-creating this space where you would want to be able to have I don't know what the space is called, but where the elders and the children are exchanging this wisdom and this and meeting. Is that something that's being created right now and dreamed into existence, or is that something that's kind of already designed? And where are you on this vision?
Yeah, we I have created what I call the Mayan Ceremonial Center. It's at the top of a mountain in the middle of a meadow. It looks like a pyramid, actually. And what it's called is Manifestation Station number 13. is a 33 feet diameter dream catcher that stands
Wow.
with no walls, and the dream catcher is woven at 8 feet height. So when you're looking at it, if you are looking at it from a drone's perspective, you're looking at a spider web, a dream catcher that is suspended in the air. So that's the Mayan Ceremonial Center. That's my creation. It's an offering to everyone, for everyone to enjoy. And you know, the dream catcher, I take it down and I put it up as weather and ceremony see it needed. And so that's what we're using for now. I am also building what I call Hummingbird 13. Hummingbird 13 is one of the vehicles that we have used traveling through space and time in the ancient future. And I'm building it here now for people to come and understand time traveling and space traveling. And even if they don't get to do that in this lifetime, in their next lifetime, they will have the memory of how to do it. So I'm building that as we speak. That one is 13 feet diameter. It will look like a classic UFO as people uh, have it in their head with a little plexiglass dome at the top. I am gonna paint it. I'm painting it as when you look at it from a distance. Again, it's gonna look like a spaceship landing on that particular space. It's right next to the garden, next to the barn that we have. And what is this called? I called it Hummingbird Sky Island because we are at 2,600 feet above the sea level. So the smog and all the pesticides stay around 2,300 feet, but it's not, the highest point is 3,300 feet. So the UV rays don't really affect the skin here. And we got this bucket of weather and air and wind, the forestry that keeps the air very, very healthy. For the same reason, the water that seeps through is filtered and it's very healthy water. So Hummingbird Sky Island because of that, and because when I made that pinky shake deal with the people, I actually was walking through the property trying to find the very best spot to do the ritual, do the ceremony, and there was this bird that kept flying in front of me that wouldn't let us through. So I mentally spoke with it, and I asked her, "I'm here in peace. I'm just here to do a ceremony for the land." And the little bird moved and it actually led us very slowly to the nest. And there's actually a hummingbird mother, and they had two little eggs in the nest. So in honor of that, that's why I call this venture Hummingbird Sky Island. So that would be the question to the answer to that question, Brooke.
One thing also to know, I haven't seen, but I guess you said it was in the 80s, Jose, that you wrote a whole series of books, a couple of which have been published, but the rest are manuscripts. Maybe just a, the thumbnail about the vision of what those are about and such.
Yeah, it's a story of us and all the characters involved in my life through 9 lifetimes of memories. So it's called Butterflies, Memoirs Through Space and Time. And it's a series of 13 books, which I will publish throughout my lifetime. So far, I published 2. The end of the series, meaning the beginning and the end of the series. And that is called, again, Butterflies, Memoirs Through Space and Time. A historical fiction story told by a Mayan Time Keeper. That spans from going down in the island of Atlantis into the ocean to a few different lifetimes. into all the way to the year 1444 in a town called Uxmal in what is now known as Mexico. The other book is what I use as a textbook to teach time travel and astral travel. And they're both part of that 13 book collection. And yes, I started writing it in 1981. I finished that in 1989, but I didn't finish editing all of it until 2012. And then I decided to publish the first one in 2017. And that is available as an ebook. Again, I use it as a textbook for my teachings. So it can only be purchased directly through me, and it's usually a gift that I just send to friends and family.
Great. Well, thank you again, all. George, I know you've got a hard stop coming up for another call, as I do. And so this has been so rich and wonderful. Thank you both.
Sanam, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Love, light, and flow. I so appreciate this connection and getting to explore the future together. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Aloha.
Aloha.